It helps me be more of me, average, faster. So it's like,
I like that.
we're finally going, oh, maybe that wasn't like that. That wasn't the best.
Hello and welcome to the Rose and Rockstar from Rockstar CMO, effing marketing podcast on the Marketing Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ian Truscott, managing partner at Velocity B. It's Saturday, the 3rd of January. Happy New Year. Delighted to be back with my chum, Robert Rose, Chief Troublemaker at the 7th Fair in our virtual bar this week, the Rose and Rockstar, where over one of his fabulous cocktails, I will pick his brains on a marketing topic that is top of mind for me. This week, as we pop the champagne on the new year, I asked Robert about his favourite prediction. While there's no sign that AI will not still be a big topic in 2026, Robert shares how he thinks the conversation will change. But first, we need to pay the bar tab. I'll be back in a moment.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to the bar and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, mate, and Happy New Year to you as well, fella. How's it going so far?
It's all one day of it has been fantastic. I think it's the best year ever so far. Trump is still president, which is really bumming me out, but 1 year in, we're okay.
And that, well, we'll get to the topic because of something you said about Trump in your own podcast, but I'll steer clear of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you should steer clear of that one lest you get a visit from the State Department or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in all honesty, I was WhatsApping one of my chums. He was in the US, and he was saying something disparaging, and we were like, "Shh, stop!"
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Be checking your social feeds. All right. Oh, well, that's a good way to start the new year, isn't it? On a downer. So lift us up, Robert. What are we going to be drinking?
We are going to do the traditional New Year's Eve drink, which of course is champagne.
Lovely.
But if I have to drink champagne, and I don't often have to, I don't often want to, and so, but when I do, I pull out the good stuff. So we will be having a bottle of Dom Perignon, the Brut Champagne from 2015, which is just an absolutely spectacular year. So it's a 10-year-old champagne at this point. And it's just absolutely delightful. And that's what we'll have. We'll cheers with some celebratory Dom Perignon.
Not marvelous. There's no better way to start the year than with that, then. Particularly as, we're still recovering from all the champagne we drank just a few days ago. So,
Yeah, indeed.
All right, so while we're sipping this wonderful champagne and celebrating, I'm wondering, Robert, as we roll into 2026 and we're trying to remember what the year is, what's your favourite prediction for the year so far? And the reason why I made the note about predictions is I know that you do predictions on your own show, This Old Marketing. From that, what's your favourite prediction for 2026?
And when you're asking, are you asking my favorite prediction that I have made, or just my favorite prediction in general, or maybe even both?
Oh, yes, even better. You should be the host of this show. Yes, please. Can I have both?
Yes. Well, let me start then with my favorite prediction that I have made, because we just had our prediction show on our podcast, which was about, I know it's going to come shock, AI. And I am predicting that 2026 is the year that AI strategy, the term AI strategy, quietly becomes the new digital transformation, basically. So in other words, AI is not going away per se, but that most companies, they'll still say that they're working on AI, but the phrase is going to start to feel a little like just a little embarrassing and a little bit like, a little bit like wearing a Bluetooth earpiece in 2008, right? It's like, it's going to be something else, and it'll start to look like, big data did, and as well as digital transformation and all those kinds of terms. And mostly it's because there's no such thing as an AI strategy. It's like saying, what's your electricity strategy? But
Yeah.
So that's my biggest prediction, is that AI strategy as a thing really, really, really starts to decline in popularity, urgency, and we stop having the sort of breathless conversations about how it's going to kill us all.
And do you think that's going to leach into all the elements of, the AI-ness? Are there going to be roles that are AI focused and all that other stuff, prompt engineers, all that stuff we've seen? Do you think that's all going away? Or do you think it's just AI strategy as a business discipline?
I do. I certainly see it as a yes and yes, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we start to see less of the whole, is prompt engineering a skill? I suppose in some ways, I continually see it, from various people who say it really, matters. Prompting really matters to get good results for specific things and all those kinds of things. And I get that because, but I do believe that very quickly here, we are going to get to a point where it's just a muscle that, very much like Google searching is a skill, right?
Yeah.
In very much a way that we all sort of learned how to Google things and get what we really are looking for. I think what we'll find is, for the most part, for call it the Pareto law of making things we need with AI, we'll mostly figure that out, right? So, are there specific prompting skills that are needed for very niche level things like doing code or doing security work or doing something that's really going to produce something that is very specific? Yes, I agree, but I think for the most part, as it comes to marketing, communications, creation, et cetera, that just fades into the background. And to your second point about sort of the overarching thing, I think what we're going to start to see is the shine come off of the generative AI stuff.
Yeah.
You can already start to see some of that, the backlash and the sort of the real shininess and newness of the idea of generative AI and imagery and video and music and text and all that sort of fading back. I think the really interesting things may start to emerge. They'll be very niche, but the more interesting parts of AI are really what are most exciting, to be honest, right? So things like, analytics, things like looking at science and medicine, looking at pattern recognition for genome sequencing, all those kinds of things that are, autonomous robots, all those kinds of things are much more interesting actually than whether it can do a poem in the style of Dr. Seuss or not. Right?
Yeah. Well, also what I was wondering as you were talking now, particularly as AI strategy is seen as a corporate strategy, do you actually think that actually a lot of these tools are just personal tools, a bit like you were saying, people Google. So therefore, do you think that this is on a level of personal productivity and therefore, sort of outside of the corporate, or do you
well, here's what and I'm still slightly unconvinced of this. So I'm saying this knowing that, it's more a feel than it is, an anecdotal than it is sort of my conviction on this is low, put it that way, to put it in sort of financial analyst terms, which is, I used to ask the question very early on, 22, 23, early 24, and I would ask people who were really experts in this field, because I'm certainly not. I would ask the experts, I would say, do you feel like AI becomes more enterprise integrated, like an operating system, or like a file system, where everybody shares the same platform within a business? Or do you feel like it becomes more of a personal productivity tool, more like, like an email client, or like a Microsoft Word or something like that? It's more of a personal productivity tool deployed perhaps in sort of a licensing enterprise way, but it's not, you don't interact with the sort of central brain. You basically interact with something that is of your own construction.
Yeah.
I'm becoming much more convinced, and again, I don't have full conviction on this, that it's the latter, not the former. In other words, that AI, when it's used in the enterprise, is much more as an individual productivity tool, rather than some integrated, and this
Mhm.
particularly pertains to marketing, content, workflow, et cetera, maybe not sort of coding and other elements, but sort of as it pertains to marketing, creativity, the creative process of putting out content, it feels to me much more like it's an individualized productivity tool than it is sort of,
Mhm.
the whole centralized brand directory, tone guidelines, et cetera, to help you create brand consistent things.
Yeah.
From my observation, seems to be a very low priority business case for most businesses.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And do you think that's why we see sort of Chat GPT outperforming things like Copilot? Because Copilot is seen as the enterprise imposed on by the man kind of thing, whereas Chat GPT seems to be the choice of the individual. Do you think that's
No, I
going
think
to
no, I
shape the
think just
market?
Copilot's a shitty product. I think it's it's not well, I mean, it's classic Microsoft user interface. It's not very well integrated. It's not,
Yeah,
I mean, look, I have Gemini now integrated into
yeah,
my Chrome browser, and I
right.
rarely use it, right? When I use Gemini, and I'm a big user of two. I use Gemini for specific things, and I use
Mhm.
ChatGPT for certain things. And I use the dedicated app, right?
Right.
I either open the dedicated app or I go right to the website, depending on
Yeah,
whether I'm on a mobile or on my
yeah.
browser. So to me, it's individual. The Copilot is just a crappy product.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I think, I mean, I did a blog post a little while back, and I mentioned that we're going to need to make choices about how much AI we choose to bring to our work, and we've talked about the journey that getting a task done isn't just about asking ChatGPT to do it. If you do it yourself or write it yourself or anything, then you go on a journey of learning. So it sounds like if we're moving away from this AI strategy thing, we're moving it to be personal tools, then there's going to be a choice, isn't there, about how synthetic we want our work to be. So is then going to be on that level rather than imposed at a corporate level.
Well, I saw two interesting articles over the holidays that made me
Yeah,
think about that question in particular at maybe a slightly higher level, which is
yeah.
I saw one which was how uh, businesses are beginning to look to people who are skilled in have more soft skills than the newest crop of workers have. Now,
Mhm.
the article I saw was very, sort of pejorative toward the younger generation of Gen Z, and sort of made it about age. And I don't think it's
Mhm.
about age. I think it's about sort of culture, if you will,
Mhm.
sort of the culture of let the technology do it for me, and it's sort of the, you know, r- losing the ability to have critical thinking or learning or actually getting good at the thing you want to get good at, and rather getting better at prompting, which,
Mhm.
to your previous point, right, about I'm really good at prompting ChatGPT to tell me the answer for things,
Mhm.
can be a way of getting lazy about getting good at the thing you want to get good at.
Mhm.
Um, and I find myself getting into that pattern as well, and I have to resist, right? So, for example, I just downloaded some new software over the holidays for music production.
Mhm.
And instead of actually going through a tutorial and learning and getting into it and figuring out how it all works, every time I have a problem, I just go to ChatGPT and I go, "How do I do this?" Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty accurate, right? But what I'm
Yeah.
not doing is I'm not learning the software, right? I'm not actually
Yeah.
learning, and I have to stop myself. Like, okay, go take a lesson, go take a tutorial, and take the time and get into it,
Yeah.
get good at the thing, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just the immediate task in front of you. So
Yeah.
mark that one there. And then the second piece that I saw that I thought was really interesting is this idea of, um, you know, the budgets of where we're looking to add people. There
Mhm.
are signs that we're starting to see businesses put more effort into the people, right? In
Mhm.
other words, soft skills, leadership skills, strategy skills, comprehension skills, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe this portends a interesting shift in attitudes, and I think it's partially why I make the prediction, a shift
Mhm.
in attitudes to say, yes, AI is a thing, but it's not the only thing, right?
Yeah.
We need we need teams and people in our business who actually know what the hell they're doing, because we're starting to see that those that are sort of quote unquote replacing the person with a bot is not working. That is really starting to take shape now, where it's not as good. It's clearly not as good. It's not as fast. It's not, there was an article about coding that came out over the holidays that said they're having to redo, spend more time redoing the code that AI does than just doing it to begin with.
Yeah.
So
Well, both you and I have talked about how actually it takes longer to produce written content because you get into the research. Now, it's probably the thing we produce at the end. Certainly you rather than me. It's probably better for it, but it's not making things quicker, is it?
That's right. That's ultimately the thing, right? And it's I mean, I've ranted on this before about how AI was, it's what my book Valuable Friction is really about. Is like AI is, 2.5 now years ago.
Yeah.
AI quite literally invited us all to slow down and take a beat and really start to use the technology to become deeper, more creative, more thoughtful, slower, and do things. And as a human species, we just went, now it'll help me be faster, right? Now, okay, faster. It'll help me be stupid. It helps me be more of me, average, faster. So it's like,
I like that.
and I think we're finally going, oh, maybe that wasn't that wasn't the best. that probably wasn't the right decision.
Hey, talking of your book, I saw on LinkedIn just before over the holidays, Chris, that Gartner CMO guy that we both like.
Chris Ross,
Chris Ross. He commented because he talked about friction. I said, hey, our mutual chums are in a book about it. He goes, yeah, I know, I'm reading it. So that's quite cool. So you got a bit of a shout out there.
Yeah.
All right. So that was your favorite prediction of yours, and we've talked about it probably too long. I should have wrapped that up quicker. But if we've got time, what's your favorite prediction of somebody else's?
Oh, it's a great question, and I think I would probably pick either one that Joe made on our show, where he talked about a bit of the economy and sort of the growth of things like Bitcoin and sort of the comeback, if you will, of all of that, with regard to where the economy was going to be. And his prediction was that it was going to make, a hearty comeback in 26. And a lot of that was going to be based on the sort of where the U.S., at least the U.S. economy, was going to be in the world of banking, as banks starting in the new year, which I didn't know about, starting in the new year, start to say, hey, these are all legitimate things, right? These are, they're now launching the ETFs and they're making it more institutional investing. And he thought you were going to see a lot of really big institutional investors start to make real inroads with crypto based on that. I don't necessarily love that idea per se, but I think it is one of my. It's a little bit like his prediction 2 years ago now. Which was he talked about the rise of nostalgia. And then we've actually seen that. So that was my favorite prediction that he made in 2024 about 2025. And not that I necessarily want to see that come true about the crypto stuff, but it's my favorite prediction in terms of the rationale behind it.
I'm not no way an expert on this, so
neither am I at all. I just thought his argument was really sound. I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I agree, because it seems to me that these products are going to become more commercial and more everyman, if you like, aren't they? And that therefore it just become more standard for people to buy crypto-based financial products like regular people, and therefore the demand for crypto will go up, and therefore the price will go up. That's what I understood the prediction to be, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's probably based on how we need to be, how I need to be judicious with your time. Probably good job we haven't got a lot to say about that one, because I think I'm gonna. I can't make a segue between Bitcoin. No, I tell you what. what else is going to where else can we find things that are going to go up in value in 2026 of a content type?
You struggled with that one. You can check us out on our lovely website, which is a new website, which is sort of living the thing that we're starting to really recommend to folks, which is making the website more of a subscription type of experience rather than sort of an online brochure, which is at seventhbear.com. And then, of course, my little newsletter is the other place I would point people to, which is you can get to from the website, of course, seventhbearlens.substack.com and on Substack.
Splendid. And when people spin the dial on the interwebs, where are they going to find you, mate?
LinkedIn still. I'm finding a lot of fun being super snarky and political over on Threads. So if you're in the mood for that, then I'm there. But that's what that channel is for me. It's all about politics and beating up on the mainstream media, which I find just completely lacking responsibility these days.
That's true. I seem to be all in on LinkedIn these days. And then Blue Sky seems to have completely gone away, which is another one of the predictions from last year, wasn't it? About what?
Indeed.
Blue Sky,
yeah, it's really,
But whether it's Blue Sky, LinkedIn, or Threads, will you be in the bar next week?
Oh, I will.
I look forward to it, my friend. I'll see you there. Thank you, Robert. Maybe we should stick to marketing and not finance, but I like Robert's take on AI and coincidentally a nice continuation of the solo episode I did on Wednesday. But let's hope we talk about more than AI in 2026. So that's a wrap on our first visit to the Rose and Rockstar in 2026. Thank you for putting a dime into your podcasting jukebox, selecting our track and jiving along with us. I'll include all of Robert's links in the show notes, along with links to me, our newsletter, and all of our previous episodes on our website, rockstarcmo.com. Coming up this week, Jeff is also back from the holidays and we'll be chatting about optimizing the marketing machine. And Robert will be back in the bar on Saturday. In the meantime, I think this quote from Rob Garth of Salesforce works for this week's episode. When deploying AI, whether you focus on top line growth or bottom line profitability, start with the customer and work backward.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.